You know what hurts most in nights like this? It is not the silence in the house. It is the little voice asking if you are too old to still want someone to hold you. The lights are low, the dishes are done, the grandchildren or the kids have gone back to their own busy lives. It is just you now, the ticking clock, and that small rectangle of light in your hand. His name on the screen, his message, his invitation. Your body remembers what it feels like to be wanted. Your heart remembers what it feels like to be broken. And somewhere between those two memories, there is a tightness in your chest that whispers, "What if I confuse loneliness with love again? What if I make a mistake at this age that I cannot easily undo?" I want you to know nothing about you is ridiculous or shameful here. Not your desire, not your fear, not the part of you that still aches to be touched, and not the part that wants to lock every door to protect your peace. Both are real. Both are worthy of respect. This conversation is for you if you are over 55 and standing at the edge of intimacy again. Maybe you are divorced and tired of being the strong one. Maybe you are widowed and wondering if it is even allowed to want someone new. Maybe you have been emotionally alone inside a marriage for years, and you are only now daring to imagine feeling close to someone again. At this stage of life, intimacy is not a casual experiment. It is sacred and serious. It touches your body, yes, but it also touches your children, your grandchildren, your health, your reputation, your bank account, and all the old scars you carry from the loves that came before. The danger is not sex itself. The danger is stepping into it without clarity, without honesty, without self-respect. There are gentle questions you can ask a man before you let him cross that threshold with you. Not to trick him or test him, but to see whether what he wants with you will protect your peace or disturb it. These questions are like a soft light you turn on in the room before you invite him in, so you can see his intentions clearly. In a moment, we are going to talk about why intimacy after 55 is a big, complex decision, not just a bit of fun. Before you answer his message or open that door, stay with me. Let us put some quiet words around what is at stake now, so that whatever you choose, you do it with open eyes and a calm, steady heart. Bridge, why intimacy after 55 is a big deal. Not just a bit of fun. You are not overthinking this. Intimacy really is different now than it was in your 20s or 30s. Back then, it could feel like something that happened in a bubble, just between you and him, with the rest of life still being written. Now the story is already long. There are grown children who might worry or judge. There may be grandchildren who see everything. There are shared homes, family memories, maybe even an ex who still hovers around the edges at holidays. One new man does not just enter your bed. He brushes up against your whole life. Your body is different too. There might be scars, surgeries, medications, or health issues you have to manage. The idea of letting someone see you without clothes is not only about beauty. It is about trusting him with your aging, with the parts of you that are no longer young, but still deserve to be treated with tenderness. That is a lot to place in someone's hands. And then there is money, reputation, the way neighbors or relatives talk. There is the fear of being used for care, for comfort, or for convenience. There is the exhaustion of starting over emotionally when you are already tired from the heartbreaks you have survived. Of course you feel careful. Of course you hesitate. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. Intimacy after 55 does not just touch your body. It touches your history, your family, your health, your future peace. That is why it deserves a slower, more thoughtful yes. Because it is so layered now, you deserve simple, honest questions that help you see a man's real intentions before you let him that close. In the next part, we will begin with the first of those questions, so your heart can move forward with more clarity and much more calm. Question 1. What does this mean to you? Before a man ever touches your body, he is already touching your life. That is why this first question matters so much. Asking, "What does this mean to you?" is not begging for reassurance or demanding a promise. It is simply asking him to show you what this moment really is for him. Because intimacy is never just a physical event. For a woman over 55, it carries stories, memories, and consequences. You deserve to know if he is stepping into this night as a turning point in his life, or just something to make the evening feel less empty. Let me tell you about Emma. She is 58, divorced for more than 10 years. Her children are grown and live in other cities. Her house is clean, quiet, and most nights she talks more to the television than to another living soul. One Sunday at the local market, she met Liam. He is 62, a little shy, with kind eyes and a gentle way of speaking. At first it was small things, bumping into each other near the vegetables, joking about prices, sharing tips about good fish. Then it became coffee after the market. Then simple meals at her kitchen table. He drove her to doctor appointments when her knees hurt. He helped her carry heavy bags, fixed a broken fan, stayed to eat the soup she made. They laughed over old songs on the radio. None of it was dramatic, but slowly, Emma's heart started to whisper, maybe this time it is real. Maybe I am not just convenient. One evening, after dinner and dishes and another easy conversation, it began to rain hard. Liam looked at the window, then at her, and said quietly, "It is late. The rain is strong. I will just sleep here tonight. It is more convenient for both of us." His voice was soft, almost casual. Emma felt two things at once. Warmth, because she wanted him to stay. Fear, because she knew what convenient had meant in the past. Her heart pounded. At this age, she could not afford to build castles in the air anymore. So she took a breath and asked, as calmly as she could, "If you stay tonight, what does that mean to you?" For a moment he looked surprised, almost caught. Then he sighed and sat back in his chair. "Honestly," he said, "it means I do not want to go home alone tonight. I like being here. It feels less empty than my apartment. I have not really thought beyond that." His words were honest, but they hurt. Emma smiled sadly and nodded. She thanked him for telling her the truth. She set up a blanket for him on the couch in the living room instead of inviting him into her bed. Later she would say, "That question did not chase him away. It saved me from writing a love story in my mind that he was not actually living. This is what I want you to hear. The question, 'What does this mean to you?' can feel scary, because you might hear an answer that is smaller than your hopes. But that honest pain now is kinder than the quiet heartbreak of realizing months later that he was only ever looking for company. You are not asking too much. You are simply asking that his meaning and your meaning are at least in the same room before you give him that kind of access to you. You deserve to know what this night is for him before you let it become something huge in your own heart. In the next part, we are going to go one layer deeper. Even if his words sound good, there is another question that matters just as much. It is about whether his heart is truly ready for what might grow between you, not just for one lonely night. Question 2. Are you truly emotionally ready for this? One of the hardest things to accept at this age is that being single is not the same as being emotionally available. A man can be legally free and still completely taken on the inside. He can be divorced and still angry, widowed and still living with his memories, or single for years but only looking for someone to fill the silence in his evenings. That is why this second question matters so much. When you ask, "Are you emotionally ready for what this could become?" you are not demanding a promise. You are simply asking whether his heart has space for you, or if you are about to walk into a room that is still crowded with ghosts. Olivia knows this feeling more than she wishes. She is 62 and has been widowed for several years. Her children love her, but they have their own families and they worry that she is always alone. So they keep saying, "Mom, it would be nice if you had a friend." One day at the clinic, while waiting for a checkup, she meets Noah. He is 66, also widowed, with kind eyes and a quiet way of listening. They discover they live in nearby neighborhoods, and before long he is offering to walk her home, to carry her bag, to sit for a little tea before he goes. Over time, their lives begin to weave together in small, gentle ways. He takes her to the doctor when she feels dizzy. He brings her hot soup when she has a cold. They light incense at the temple on holidays, sit side by side at church or community gatherings, and share small jokes over peeling fruit in her kitchen. It is not grand romance, but it feels steady and real. Olivia starts to think, maybe we are both ready to build something new. Yet when she mentions simple things about the future, like spending Tet together or planning a short trip, Noah smiles and says, "Let things be natural. No need to think too far ahead." If she asks about meeting his extended family, he gently changes the subject. The feeling is good, but there is a distance she cannot quite name. One evening, they share a simple dinner at her table. The house is warm with the smell of rice and fish. After they finish eating, he reaches for her hand and holds it a little longer than usual. His eyes soften. "Sometimes I wish," he says quietly, "that I did not have to go back to an empty bed." The meaning is clear. Olivia feels her heart swell and sink at the same time. She likes him. She is lonely too. But something in her chest tightens, a sense that if she moves too quickly, she might be stepping into something his heart cannot carry. She takes a slow breath and says, "Can I ask you something honestly? Do you feel emotionally ready for a new relationship? Or are you still living with your past in your heart?" For a long moment, Noah looks at the table. When he finally speaks, his voice is soft and tired. "I thought I was ready," he says, "but every night before I sleep, I still talk to my late wife in my mind. I still feel guilty about the idea of loving someone else. It feels like I am betraying her. I do not know how to let her rest yet." His words land heavy, but they are real. Olivia feels a sting of disappointment, yet also a strange relief. His honesty does not insult her. It saves her from trying to be his healer, his replacement, or his medicine for a grief he has not finished. "This is what I want you to remember. Many men at this age are not cruel or deceptive. They are simply still grieving, still angry, or still afraid, and that makes them unavailable even if they are lonely. If you step into intimacy with a man whose heart is still tied to the past, you may end up carrying a burden that is not yours. This question is not only for him, it is for you too. Are you truly ready? Or are you hoping that closeness will numb an old wound you have not tended to yet? It is brave to ask, and it is scary to hear the truth, but knowing his emotional capacity now can protect you from months or years of quiet confusion later. Once you have some sense of whether his heart is free enough to meet you, there is another layer to look at. Even if he says he is ready, how does he actually behave when things get emotionally close? That is where the next question will gently take you. Question 3. How do you handle closeness? Closeness is not just two bodies lying next to each other. It is what happens when feelings show up and no one changes the subject. Many people say they want love, but when emotions get real, they pull back, make a joke, go quiet, or tell you not to think too much. That is why this question matters so deeply. When you ask, "How do you handle closeness?" you are not accusing him of anything. You are gently asking, when someone gets near your heart, do you open the door a little more, or do you run back inside and shut it? Ava is almost 60. For years she lived with a controlling husband who needed her to be strong all the time. There was never room for her to be weak, scared, or sad. If she cried, he called her dramatic. If she was tired, he said she was lazy. She learned to swallow her feelings and smile. After that marriage ended, she promised herself that if she ever loved again, it would be with someone gentle. Then she met Ethan. He is 63, charming, funny, always ready with a story. With him, life feels lighter. They share coffee at a small shop, tease each other about old songs, and laugh while cooking noodles in her kitchen. At first, it feels like a breath of fresh air. No shouting, no criticism, no walking on eggshells, just warmth and fun. But slowly, small moments start to bother her. When she mentions her fear of getting sick again, he pats her hand and says, "You worry too much." When she tries to talk about the loneliness of waking up to an empty house, he cracks a joke to change the mood. One afternoon, she shows him the scar from her surgery and admits she is afraid of being a burden someday. Ethan looks uncomfortable and says, "Let us not talk about sad things. Life is short. Just enjoy." He is not cruel. He just cannot stay long in heavy feelings. The closeness never quite reaches the deep places where she actually lives. One evening they sit together on her balcony, the city lights soft in the distance. He shifts his chair closer, his hand resting on her knee, and she feels that familiar mix of wanting and worry. Part of her is grateful to feel wanted again. Another part whispers, will he still be here when I am not cheerful, not strong, not pretending to be fine? She takes a slow breath and decides to trust her own questions. Ethan, she says gently, can I ask you something? How do you handle closeness? Not just fun and affection, but when someone is sad, scared, or not okay. He is quiet for a long moment. Then he sighs and says, honestly, I think I am better at giving affection than receiving it. When someone cries, I want to escape. I am afraid I will fail them, so I avoid it. His answer stings, but it is also a kind of truth she can work with. Ethan is not a bad man. His heart has learned to stay in control by keeping things light. For a woman like Ava, with real health concerns, family worries, and old hurts, a partner who cannot sit with her in vulnerability will eventually feel distant, no matter how warm he is when everything is easy. This question is also a mirror for you. Do you let people see you when you are not fine? Or do you hide behind jokes and I am okay too? Closeness asks both people to stay present when it is messy. You are not asking for too much when you want someone who can do that with you. When you ask, how do you handle closeness? You are inviting honesty about his emotional language, not trying to trap him. His answer helps you decide if this is someone you can lean on in real life, not just laugh with on good days. Once you have seen how he responds to emotional nearness, the next thing to understand is what he is truly looking for beyond the spark of attraction. Question 4. What are you looking for beyond attraction? Attraction is beautiful. It wakes up parts of you that you thought were gone. But at this age, you need to know what, if anything, stands behind that spark. Is it peace, companionship, shared life, or just distraction and convenience? This question does not shame desire. It simply clarifies it. When you ask, what are you looking for beyond attraction? You are really asking, if the chemistry is strong, then what comes next in your mind? Chloe is 59. Her body carries the stories of her life. Children, surgeries, weight gained and lost, the soft changes of age. She does her best to accept herself, but there are nights when she looks in the mirror and quietly thinks, who would want this now? Then she meets Mason, 61. He is confident, social, quick with a compliment. From the very beginning, he tells her, you are so attractive. I love women your age. Women in their 50s and 60s are the best. No one has spoken to her like that in years. At first, his words pour over her like warm sunlight. He notices her smile, her eyes, the way she dresses. When they go out, he walks proudly beside her. She feels seen again, not as someone's mother or grandmother, but as a woman. It is intoxicating. They talk about favorite foods, travel, music. Mason loves to say, we should enjoy life while we can. Travel, eat good food, have fun. When Chloe tries to ask about what he wants in the future, his answers stay vague. He talks about trips, restaurants, and beaches, but not about caregiving, shared bills, or who shows up when one of them is in the hospital. One evening, after a nice dinner, they return to her house for tea. He sits a little closer on the sofa, his hand resting on her leg, his compliments becoming softer and more physical. She feels that old mix of thrill and fear. Part of her is flattered and tempted. Another part whispers, is this just about my body, or is there more here? She could ignore that voice. Years ago, she might have. But tonight, she decides to honor it. She takes a breath and asks, gently but clearly, aside from finding me attractive, what are you really looking for in this relationship? Are you looking for a partner to share life with, or are you looking for company and fun without any real commitment? Mason hesitates, then laughs a little to ease the tension. To be honest, he says, I do not want to feel tied down. I want someone to go out with, to travel with, to enjoy. But I do not want to be responsible for anyone if they get sick, and I do not want anyone to depend on me too much. His answer lands like a stone in her chest, not because he is evil, but because he is clear. What he wants is not what her heart quietly hopes for. She can enjoy being found attractive and still admit that she needs more than that. She needs someone who will sit in waiting rooms, help with forms, share the quiet, ordinary days, not just the fun. There is nothing wrong with Mason knowing what he wants. The wisdom for Chloe is seeing that his picture of enjoying life does not match her deeper need for safety and shared daily life. Asking this question early saves her from years of hoping he will someday turn fun into commitment. You can ask yourself the same thing. Beyond being wanted and feeling beautiful again, what are you looking for? Is it company, peace, shared routines, someone who will notice when you are not okay? Wanting more than chemistry is not being demanding. It is honoring the reality of your age and the truth of your soul. Once you have a sense of what he truly wants beyond attraction, there is one more piece to bring everything into line with your heart. The next step is to see if he is willing to honor your pace, or if he wants your body to move much faster than your spirit is ready to go. Question 5. Can we take this slow? In a world where everyone seems to rush into intimacy to avoid feeling lonely, choosing to go slow is an act of courage. It is not playing hard to get. It is you saying, "My heart and my peace matter just as much as my desire." Asking, "Can we take this slow?" is not about testing his patience. It is about seeing whether he respects your rhythm or only his own. It shows you if he values you as a whole person with a history, a family, and a soul, not just as a warm body beside him at night. Maya is 65. She has been widowed for several years. Her grown children live far away, busy with their own lives, and many evenings she eats dinner at a small table meant for two, with only the television for company. One day she reconnects with Lucas, 68, an old acquaintance from the neighborhood. He is funny and thoughtful, with a way of making her laugh that she has not felt since her husband was alive. What starts as casual chats after community events becomes coffee, then simple meals, then long walks in the cool evening air. Over months, they build a gentle companionship. Trips to the market where they complain about prices and share snacks. Visits to the temple or church on special days. Phone calls at night just to say, "Are you all right today?" The quiet spaces in her house begin to feel less heavy because his voice is there, his shoes by the door, his laughter in the kitchen. Slowly, another kind of energy starts to appear. A longer touch on her shoulder, a hand resting at her waist, the way his eyes linger when she smiles. One evening, after a cozy dinner, he says, "We are not young anymore. Why make it complicated? Life is short. We should enjoy it while we can." His hand moves to pull her closer. Inside, Mia feels pulled in two directions. Part of her thinks, he is right, life is short. Another part knows that if she moves too fast, she may lose the sense of safety and clarity she has built. She remembers how hard it was to rebuild her life after her husband died, how fragile her peace still feels. She places her hand gently over his and takes a slow breath. "Lucas," she says quietly, "if you really care about me, can we take this slow? I want to know that my heart feels safe with you, not just my body warm next to you." Her voice is soft, but there is a strength in it she has earned over many years. For a moment, he looks surprised. Then his face softens. "To be honest," he says, "you are the first woman who makes me want to slow down, not speed up. If going slow helps you trust this, then I want that too." In that answer, she hears more than affection. She hears respect. Sometimes, of course, a man will react differently. He might become irritated, push harder, or pull away if you do not move at his pace. As painful as that is, it is also an answer. A man who cannot respect your timing will not protect your heart later. What I want you to hold on to is this. A man who truly wants you will match your pace, not push you past your boundaries. "Can we take this slow?" is another way of saying, my dignity, my history, and my nervous system matter. You are not being childish. You are honoring the life you have already lived and the heart you have already had to put back together. When you put this question beside the others, something beautiful happens. You have asked what this means to him, whether he is emotionally ready, how he handles closeness, what he wants beyond attraction, and now if he is willing to honor your pace. In the next part, we will gather these 5 gentle questions together and remember that love after 55 can move slowly, clearly, and kindly toward the peace your heart has been longing for. If we were really together right now, this would be the moment when I walk you to the front door. The house is quiet again, the late-night light in the hallway still on. And maybe somewhere in the next room your phone is resting with a message or an invitation from a man waiting to be answered. Before you turn that light off, I want to gather what you have just walked through and place it gently in your hands. You have not just listened to 5 questions. You have walked through 5 small mirrors that show you the truth of a man and the truth of yourself. What does this mean to you? Are you emotionally ready for what this could become? How do you handle closeness? What are you looking for beyond attraction? Can we take this slow? These are not tricks to trap a man or games to make him chase you. They are tools to protect your heart, your time, and your dignity. Each one asks, in its own way, will he meet me in truth? Or am I about to abandon myself just to avoid another lonely night? At this age, your goal is not to keep any man at any cost. Your goal is to keep your peace and only welcome those who protect it. Love after 55 is not about intensity and urgency anymore. It is about clarity, peace, and being met with respect. You are not silly or demanding for wanting more than company for the night. A wise woman in this season does not fear losing the wrong man. She fears losing herself again. So before you step back into your own quiet house, let us pull out one more chair in this little 55-plus women's circle. If you feel safe enough, share in the comments one question you wish you had asked in the past, or one you now promise to ask yourself or a man before intimacy. If this conversation made you feel a little less alone, you can quietly pass it on to another woman over 55 who might need it, and you are always welcome to come back here to sit with us again for more honest, gentle talks. As you turn off the light tonight, I hope you remember this one simple truth. Losing a man who cannot hold your truth is a much smaller loss than giving up your peace to keep him.